Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Daily Aztec Debrief. I'm your host, Rami Alarian, and I'm without my co-host today. But don't worry, I'm testing out a new camera angle, and today's episode is actually headed by my co-host, interviewing our guests of today's podcast. Welcome, Jaylynn, as per usual, chatting with Angela Vasquez and Luca Rivetti. They discuss the art of student filmmaking at SDSU and a student film titled Mortem. I'll pass it off to you, Jaylynn.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Aztec Debrief. I'm here with two special guests. If you guys want to go and introduce yourselves, I'll leave you to it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Angela Vasquez, and I am the writer and the producer of the SDSU thesis film,
Yes.
Mortem.
And I'm Luca Rivetti. I am the director of Mortem. And
Yeah.
it's the first time doing something like this.
Yeah,
so we're
well,
really excited to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much. Do you guys want to kind of plug your project? When did this start? How'd you guys even meet each other? What did your whole beginning process, when there was nothing, look like?
The project, it's for a class, TFM 560, and that's the undergraduate thesis class. It's the big film you make before you graduate, kind of to showcase what you've learned so far in the program, and to take a film and, kind of workshop it in the future to try and, get employed later on. This is something we've made, something we are capable of, and it's the big one you kind of put out there. And, for the two of us, we've been taking classes together since the beginning of the program. We kind of first met, it was almost 2 years ago now when we started in the program. And we hadn't actually made anything together for the program until this, but we'd been in all the same classes. We kind of liked each other's work. And so going into this semester, we knew we wanted to make something together. And this has been, over the summer, we were even talking about putting things, getting a script in line and before the semester started, before we even knew if we could make the project, just because we wanted to work on this together.
Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah.
Go.
No, it's basically what he said. We met in our first class, which is called 314, and we had never said a word to each other until the very last day. I saw a film that Luca worked on. He DP'd it, and I was like, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And so I walked up to him and I was like, hey, I'm doing a 48-hour film competition over the summer. Do you want to join? And from there, we just became really fast friends. After that, we finished the editing for that project. I went to his house and stuff. His whole family was there. They made us pasta, and I was like, these are lovely people.
Yeah.
And then we just continued to have classes together. We did a couple of projects here and there, more small. But then one day we were working on our documentary project together. We were driving over to this location and kind of just talking about 560 because the semester was winding down and we knew that this was coming up, and we were like, what if we just teamed up? Because Luca and I have very similar standards for film. We're both a little, I think, uptight sometimes about it, but in a good way. We just care so much, and I was like, why don't we do it? And thus far, I think we've made a very strong team.
Yeah, no, I feel like that definitely translated as just an outsider's perspective on the one day. I was like, oh, they run this like the Navy, they got this, do not play around. But speaking on your guys' experience, working with each other, I feel like that's such a common relationship within the arts. You have so many peers where you're like, wait, I'm low-key your fan, but we're at the same level too. But I want to be your friend, but I don't also want to come off as too much at the same time. And then you kind of realize wait, we feel the same way. Let's get on the same wavelength and do this. And that's so cool. So I'm gonna pull up my list of questions that I have prepared. They're kind of long, but feel free to answer what aspect of the question you want to. So you're talking about your crew and how you kind of liked, the environment and chemistry that you created, and you're very proud of that. So I've worked in a kitchen environment before, and I've noticed that a lot of you guys use commands such as glass flying in, camera moves, actors flying in, stuff like that. And it kind of mimics door, behind, hot soup, stuff like that. So what was the process for choosing your crew and who you wanted to work with? And did this result in the product that you hoped for? And did you feel you found the recipe for the chemistry that you wanted on set?
The way that we assembled our crew, it was mostly first of all, our class is comprised of 10 people, so
right.
It wasn't this long list to go through, but we knew that there were some people that we definitely wanted to work with, Jaylynn Vega Allen, for instance, we knew that we wanted a set made for this film, and she knows production design so well. And it's just like, it's her game, it's her bag. And so we knew that we wanted her very early on. Luca knew that he wanted Griffin as our DP because they had already worked together. Griffin's so strong.
Yeah, Griffin, he's really good. We worked together on our intermediate film project last semester. And we'd been in classes too before that. That was the first thing we did together. And that one went really well. He's really, really strong behind the camera. He's got a good eye for lighting and camera. And also knows his way around the set. He knows the role. And that's the same thing like we were talking about before, is that you meet the people that you like personally and that you like to work with. And so it's like, you know, why not bring him on? And he was someone else that even going into the semester we wanted to work with. And so it's about like finding those people in the program. That's what you really gain, is the knowledge on one hand for actually making films, but then the relationships that you make, that you take on to the next project and then after school into the professional world. And it kind of came together really well for this project, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Also, another shout out to our editor, Lauren. who's
Yes,
killing it right now in post.
Also, use like first and last names so people could
Okay.
like reach out to if they want to like, you know, help the project. And like I noticed on your Instagram page, like you have like a donations and stuff like that too. So like please like fully like plug your project, like be as successful as you want to push it. But also for those who don't know, what's a DP?
Oh, it's a director of photography.
And what does that role look like for like on set for people who don't know?
Oh yeah, so DP, director of photography, cinematographer, those kind of are interchangeable terms. But that's the person who's involved directly with camera and lighting. So creating like the visual look of the film. And it's really, really like a technical job as well as it is artistic. It really blends like the role of choosing the right camera, choosing the right lenses, and finding the right lighting. But there's a lot that goes into that for like creating a lighting look, because it varies like film by film. You'd think like going into a film, it's like, okay, we're doing a shot like this. It's a million films done that before. It's all going to be the same. But it's about finding the shot that works for the story. That's the most important part, is lighting to match the story. Like, do you create soft, natural lighting for like a rom-com where it's like nothing's really going on? It's like, it's more about just like that happy-go-lucky feeling. Or is it like a more dramatic thing where you lights with like, you know, deeper shadows on one side and more dramatic to emphasize the emotional feeling of what's going on? And so it's a really, really interesting role in blending like the story aspect as well as the technical stuff. And it's very pivotal in creating the overall look and aesthetic that you see, but also feel when you're watching a film.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people, like, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Finley about it, and he was like, I want to be so good at lighting that you notice the lighting in a project, because it's often like something that's like, obviously like there's like an underlying mood to it, but like you have to like really do something for people who aren't like in the film world to be like, oh wow, this like does something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we touched on it. What are your roles in the film? I think we completely get, and like, what is the project about?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
let's
think
not
we
talk about that.
completely like missed the most important part of this conversation for audience members.
Yeah. Okay, so Mortem is a film about a funeral director named Morty, and he has the ability to speak to the dead. So, like, the big irony of the story is that he himself is worried that he's dying. And so now, like, through having interactions with all of these people that he works with on a daily basis, like, they're kind of teaching him a little bit about, like, how you should live your life and, like, living without regret so that when you die, you're not kind of in the same position as them. And then, like, in the end, like, the biggest gut punch is that he runs into his last client of the day is somebody that he knew from childhood. And so it really just brings him face to face with his mortality. And like overall, the story is really just about like living your life to the fullest. It's so cliche, but like it is something that I think we often forget because it's so easy to get caught up in like the really minute details of life that we don't often think about our own mortality. And so essentially the story is just kind of telling you, like, you know, do things before it's too late because you don't want to die with regrets.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was so cool, and I like the supernatural aspect that you tied into it. I think that's so like clever, like in the most easily put way. So kind of going back to like the crew, and you're talking about like these people that you've worked with in the past, and you like building these relationships. I noticed that there was like a lot of different like ages and like levels of experience. Did that kind of naturally just happen, or was that something that like you sought after?
I mean, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, it's for finding the crew. It's always like, I mean, we're college, so it's like mostly going to be college age people working on it. But it's like some of the people were more like our age and like our cohort. That's like our main crew. But it's also like part of the making these films is having help from those who are still learning, still like newer into the program. And that's kind of how you learn your way around a set is by, at least here in the program, is by getting onto sets for like when I was a freshman or a sophomore, I was getting on like undergraduate films or graduate projects and just kind of observing, learning, doing different roles. And that's kind of how you learn your way around the sets. That way, when you are the one making your film, you understand how it all works from the top now. And so it's important to have those like different levels of experience for both learning and then eventually making your own film.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really is just that, like, you get such a mix of people because it's college. And so people are coming in at all different kinds of levels with different skill sets and different ages and stuff. But it does make for such a unique combination of people. And I really do think that, like, with this crew, I don't even think it was intentional. Like, the crew that we picked, it was like, this person is free. And that's great.
Yeah. They have the right work ethic, and that's all we need at the end of the day. Yeah.
And so it worked out really well, though. Like, I feel like there was a very nice, like, I don't know, vibe going between everyone where it's like everyone knew what they were doing. And if they didn't, there was somebody who could help them and teach them how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like I'm just like so in awe. Like I've never been on a film set before, so it was really cool from like an outsider's perspective. Just like I don't like everyone had their own role, obviously, but like it was so like intertwined in a way that it was just like one unit. And I think like that was something that like I was just like really in awe of and like from a distance like commended you guys on.
Yeah.
So I noticed that there was a big emphasis in preserving the emotional environment of a particular scene, such as when Morty like collapses on the cabinet and like falls to the ground. And I think like this kind of extended beyond the cast into the crew. Like everyone was like, okay, let's preserve this. Why is keeping this desired energy so crucial for how it translates onto the screen from take to take?
Yeah, I mean, in general for shooting films, there's like the crew aspect that we were talking about. It's very much like we're all in this together, and it can be tough, it can be grueling, it can be long days and hard hours, and so it's easy to like when you're with good people, you want to crack jokes, you want to have fun, but for that particular scene, it's the emotional high of the film. Morty's going through it's all the emotions that have been building up throughout the story are coming to a climax, and it was important for our actor Douglas, who was fantastic by the way. We wanted to make sure that the environment, we kind of toned down the jokes, toned down the just any like sort of distractions, so that he could really focus on the performance, because it's really difficult too, not only to make yourself, be believable going through those emotions, but to like do it again and again and again for a take, and then we move the camera this way and we do it again, and then so he was doing it over and over again, and we want to preserve that just those feelings that he can, so for the actors, so they can really just hammer in those emotions and get the strongest performance. And it's really, really important, especially in those emotional scenes, so that environment is there for them.
Yeah, no, it's such a tough thing. I've had to like try and cry on camera before, and like I'm not what you would call a very serious actor or even an actor at all anymore. And so like I remember being on set before and just like people giggling in between takes, laughing, cracking jokes. And you want to be a part of it, but you're also like, everyone needs to shut up. I need to like get in the zone. And so like having noticed that after multiple sets where like, I feel like for some reason I always write some sort of crying scene for my actors. I was like we had a discussion, I think along with Amanda Harper, our AD, we were like, we need to like really bring it down a notch, because like we're having fun, we're all friends on set, we're making a movie, this is so great, this is so wonderful. But like when you have to be crying again and again and again, and like there's a lot of downtime in between, and it's hard to like hold that emotion. So yeah, it's such an important thing to let everybody know, like we have to be a little more solemn right now, and then we can crack jokes as soon as this is over.
Yeah. Did you guys have like on like the joke side? Did you guys have like a moment throughout like the filming process that like was your favorite, like just your favorite memory on set?
I mean, those days all blend together so quickly. 'Cause it was so hardcore, like day in, day out. I mean, when it comes to favorite memories, I mean, it's just working with the people. Like, that's what really makes the project, is the people that you work with. Like, you can have a great story, you can have a great, production, like designed and everything like that. But what makes the film important and like stand out is that you knew that you were working with people that you like to work with. And so there was one particular moment for me that really showcased the team coming together on our end, and that was actually with Finley. We love Finley. It was the night we were lighting in the studio. It was myself and Griffin were doing a pre-light before our first day shooting in the studio. And we'd wrap filming for the day, the cemetery. We went to our studio, in Studio C on campus, and it was our first time in the space to get it ready to film. And Griffin and I were really struggling to get the lighting together. Like, Kayla was in there with all of her production design, setting everything up, getting all the props and decorations, while we were trying to figure out how to light the space. And it was late at night. We couldn't crack it. And so Griffin called up Finley and said, "Hey, Finley, can you please come here now?" And even though he was working on an assignment, he had something to do at midnight, he was like, "I got you guys." And so he showed up.
I did not know that. Yeah. I thought he was just like rolling through for some reason.
No, yeah, he was working on a script for Stuart's class.
He was in his pajamas.
Yeah, it was like 11:30 at night, and he was there just helping us figure out a solution to the problem. Because that's like the biggest thing about filmmaking is just problem solving. It's being able to have a plan and then realize the plan's not working and then pivot and find a solution. And so he helped us. He was a really, really big help in creating that look that for lighting wise. It wouldn't have been there without him, because he was the gaffer on the project, which is who works with the cinematographer to help create the lighting, and is so that really stood out to me, because it was an example of just like team coming together, of someone who really has no stake in the project. Like, it's not Finley's grade, it's our grade, it's our project. And but he was like just so ready and so like passionate about it, that he took the time out of his own night, after being up with us all day the previous day. He's going to be up early the next day for us to just show up and help out, and that really stood out to me.
Yeah. What about you, Angela?
Oh my gosh, there's so many like fun stories from being on set. I think I really enjoyed, this is like not even shooting, but when we did, me, Kayla, and Lauren, we did this like morgue tour, or like a tour of the studio, but like set to Sabrina Carpenter's house tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh,
yeah. But that was like so much fun. Like, I was like about to pee my pants, like while we were making that. We were laughing so much. But there was also just like this amazing time when we were trying to get room tone. So like, room tone is something that you do like at the end of the shoot, basically before you wrap for the day, just so that you can like put it into audio later so that it doesn't sound weird. This is a horrible explanation of room tone. But so basically, like, you just have to be really quiet, and you need bodies in the room to fill the space so that it doesn't sound empty. And we just like could not seem to get it together. Like, people's stomachs were gurgling.
Yeah, I was there when it happened. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was just like so funny. And I feel like things like that just like kept happening. Like, where like somebody was laughing, or we just heard like a random like scream from somewhere. We're like, what was that? So like moments like that, I think, are so fun, when you just are like, we're just people.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it was like, guys, it was almost like scripted of like how much like things like the stomach was the one that was the best. I feel like it was so loud, and it was
Luca.
It was you.
Yeah, that was me.
But no, I think you explained it good. I feel like that's a good way that you explained it. But yeah, no, definitely. So kind of wrapping up here. This is going to be submitted to multiple festivals, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why do student filmmakers submit to festivals in the first place? And like, how does that kind of relate to, the success of a project, for lack of a better word, or just like the outreach that a project gets?
Yeah. Festivals they're really important for showcasing the work that you've made. The school here has their emerging film festival at the end of each semester, where you submit to the festival, and then they showcase, like, it's a way of saying, this is what our film students made throughout the semester. They give out awards for, like best film or best cinematography, best sound design, and it's just a way of celebrating the films that have been made. And it's a really big process for submitting films, but the reason that we do it like outside of school is a way of just showing the work. It's kind of a way to to meet like-minded people that have also made films, other students, other filmmakers. They put their films in the festivals. And so you go to festivals, you meet other people, you see the films they've made. You say, hey, maybe I'm looking for someone to work on my project. I like what they did on this film I saw at the festival. Then you meet them, you talk to them. And it's really, really important for not only celebrating the work you've made, showcasing it, but networking with other people.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really big social aspect, as well as it is just a place to go and see the films that you've made in front of an audience, see how they react to it, and also just get your work in front of other people who may want to hire you or bring you on to the next project. It's really, really important step in that direction professionally.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like being social is like one of the biggest aspects of this profession is like knowing people. You cannot make a movie by yourself, and so like getting eyes on your work is so important because you can make a million films, but if nobody sees them, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna keep making them by yourself or with like the same two people that you've been making them with. And oh, my phone's ringing. I'm sorry, I muted that. But yeah, so like I think that's why it's really so important, and that's something that me and Luca have been talking a lot about. Is just like you can like you need people to see your work, even if you're like, oh my god, this is garbage. No one's gonna like it. Art is so subjective. People will see it and be like, wait, I really liked this part. I like this. Like people have walked up to me before after seeing something, and I'm like, that was dog shit. Like, and they've been like, I loved this. I thought this was so cool. And I'm like, really? Why? But like, it's great to know that there are people out there that actually like your ideas, because a lot of the times it can feel like you're just kind of like throwing things into the void, especially after all of the hard work that it takes to make a film. It's nice to be able to kind of celebrate it and have people like give you their opinions of what they saw in your film.
From start to finish, how long does it like take to make this film, or like how long like do you anticipate?
I mean, for this project, we're limited by the semester. So I mean, technically speaking, it started at the beginning of the semester, early September, when we pitched the project and it got voted for, and then it'll technically speaking end at the end of the semester when we submit the version for the film and it's all finalized. But realistically, it started like for us back in summertime when we were trying to put together the scripts and story, and it realistically could end later on as we make tweaks to the edit and just make adjustments to submit it to more festivals down the line.
Yeah.
So it's it really varies by like the project and by the standards we set for ourselves about when we want it to actually be finalized and done. So there's really no set like dates, but I mean that's the thing about being in film school is you have to have it done by this date for the grade.
Yeah.
So I mean for us our final cut is due December 1st for our professor, and then we have another week after that.
That's a quick turnaround time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, film school. They make sure you have it done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you wish that you had more time, or are you the kind of like workers, like I know for me, like I need deadlines and I'll do it the night before. No, I mean, this is not anything that can be, this is obviously a very long project and you can't make this in one night, but like, do you feel like the motivation by the deadlines to get it done, or is like, it kind of just like there as a guide?
The deadlines are very, 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 like you were saying, they're necessary.
Yeah.
It's really easy to like kind of be like, oh, we'll just do this part tomorrow, or it's whatever. But it's super helpful in kind of keeping us like locked in. Like, all right, we have a month for the edit. Has to be done on this day. We want it to be really good, so we have to really like get it done. And so it would be when it's other like more arbitrary things like deadlines we set for ourselves. I know Angela and myself kind of find ourselves being like, we right, like there's a lot of stuff that like it's much easier to hold yourself accountable when you have a deadline to hit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so like for doing films outside of like school, you always talk about, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, and then it kind of doesn't always realize itself because there is no one telling you to like have it done on this day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think creatives are naturally procrastinators.
Who said that? What? No, we're not. No, we're not.
And so, like, if you don't have somebody to light a fire under your ass, like, it's bad. Like, we've had so many things where we're like, yeah, we'll do this. We'll work on this. We're going to get this done. And then, like, it's like, we made one version of the edit. We're like, nah, life goes on. Let's keep moving. But, like, with this, it just feels so much more real, especially because it's like, our grades are depending on it. This is the last thing we're making for film school. And, you know, we just have expectations to meet and deadlines to fulfill. Yeah. So I love deadlines, and I'm very scared for what's going to happen after I'm done with this program, because no one's going to be there to be like, you need to turn this in.
I think, like, going back to what you were saying about, too, like, you could, like, look at a project for so long and be like, I hate this, and some other people. And, like, deadlines help you not just keep critiquing and critiquing and critiquing and critiquing. And, like, at some point, there's, like, no, this is good. It doesn't need to be touched anymore. Because you can always just keep nitpicking at a project until it's, like, something you can't even recognize anymore. Because you just keep doing it. So I think, going to back to deadlines, I think that's definitely necessary. But as we're wrapping up here, what's your call to action? What to aspiring filmmakers? I know they changed the portfolio recently too, the application process. To people who are about to start their thesis, film next semester, like just this camera, hot ones, eat the last wing.
Oh wait, there are cameras everywhere. I thought it was just this one.
Oh no, this middle camera is yours, and then this camera on the right is mine.
That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah, but plug your project, put your socials, whatever your call to action, your final words.
Yeah, so we have our Instagram. It's for Mortem Film. You can follow us there. Yeah,
pull it up.
We do the Venmo. That's on the Instagram as well. Yeah. And so on Instagram, we shared like behind the scenes footage from the film, just the process of it, stuff we want to put out there that you can see. And then we have a Venmo too for donations. That's a big part of making a student film is we have to source the money ourselves or through crowdfunding. And that pays for like when we're actually doing production, like food for all the cast and crew, like equipment, insurance, paying our actors. All the costs like gas and parking for people who are helping out, it's all the things you wouldn't think would go into making a film. That's funds we used to cover ourselves through out of our own pocket or through donations from friends, family, or anyone who's interested and believes in the story. And so if you go to our Instagram, that's Postmortem Film.
And that's our Venmo as well.
And the Venmo as well.
Postmortem Film.
At Postmortem Film. Yeah. You can see all the behind the scenes stuff. You can see we're still posting things, even though that we're in post production now. We're still putting more things out there just to kind of keep the audience, keep people who have donated, and keep everyone, just updated on what's going on. And eventually, we have our Emerging Film Festival at the end of this semester. That's December 14th and 15th. And we're going to submit the film to that, and hopefully it'll play there. And so that'll give, for anyone who wants to see the film in the San Diego community that's here on campus, that'd be a great opportunity to see it and support the other films that have been made in the program.
Yeah. As for what you said about like giving future filmmakers advice,
or
like people like in the program or whatever, I'd really just say like make friends and don't make enemies. That's like the most important thing, and that can happen very quickly because like emotions get real on set, even though it's like, man, I don't know where this film is going, and we're just a bunch of students. Like it feels so real, and you put so much time and work into it that like you can get really swept up in it very quickly. But it's so important to remember that like at the end of the day, the thing that matters the most is walking away with these people being like, we are friends first. And like that's something that I said to Luca so many times because I'm an emotional gal. And so like there was times where I was like, I want to walk away from this friends. I don't want us to like get into some kind of creative argument that we can't come out of. And so that would be my first piece of advice. And my second piece of advice is just like, just have fun. Nobody's getting paid. Like that's,
we're all broke college students at the end of the day. We're just trying to make it.
Yeah, and just like always be humble and kind. That's really all you can do at the end of the day. And like, you can make the best film in the world, but if you're a jerk, nobody's gonna want to work with you again.
Exactly, yeah.
So just be kind, have fun, make friends. Do all the right things. Like the other stuff will come along with it. And I think like Luca and I have talked about this a lot. Where like it shows so much in a film when things were bad on set. You can really see it. It reflects in the way that the film came out. And so just remember that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Angela and Luca, for being here today.
Thank you.
And
this was so fun.
We're going to do the headlines now.
Thank you again, Jaylynn. Let's get straight into the headlines. Now in sports, great news right off the bat, Aztecs. San Diego football secured another victory last Saturday night, beating Boise State 17-7 to secure sole possession of the first place in the Mountain West. Head coach Sean Lewis said in a post-game press conference, "We may live in a great area that doesn't get a lot of bad weather, but we got a blue-collar nasty toughness about us. That if you want to go fight in a phone booth, let's go get it on." Other news in sports, San Diego State launches a $2 million push for football recruiting and retention ahead of next year's Pac-12 move, with the help of an anonymous $1 million challenge gift. The anonymous gift won't be unlocked unless supporters collectively match the amount. If they do, the program instantly reaches the halfway point of its $2 million goal, doubling the value of every donation. SDSU officials said the structure is meant to accelerate momentum as the program moves into what they see as a critical stretch of its evolution. Now, in the news, Newsom's polarizing decision to veto admission preference for descendants of slaves sets a precedent for college admissions at SDSU. Assembly Bill 7, which gave California colleges, both private and public, explicit permission to prioritize admission of applicants who are descendants of slaves if they choose to do so, has been vetoed by Newsom. In his letter to the California Assembly, he reasoned that the bill is unnecessary because colleges and universities in California already have the power to consider ancestors' enslavement in admissions. Chair and Associate Professor of the Department of Africana Studies at SDSU, Professor Adisa A. Alkabulon, said that Newsom's veto leaves California state universities uncertain with how to implement reparations. In other news, CSU's Chancellor Mildred Garcia shared in a September email that the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has launched a system-wide investigation into universities across the CSU following allegations of anti-Semitism on its campuses. To this end, the EEOC has begun direct outreach to some faculty and staff members across the system to review allegations of anti-Semitism and to speak with them about their experiences on campus, Garcia said. Charlotte Hopkins, who identifies as ethnically Jewish, said that she has not experienced anti-Semitism at SDSU. "As a Jewish person, I do not believe anti-Semitism is a big issue," she said. "Do I think anti-Semitism is an issue in general life, in our society? Yes. But I don't think it is in the way that Trump and his administration likes to make it seem like it is." Second-year Jewish student Sam Rothstein accused the university of perpetrating incidents of anti-Semitism. Rothstein reported going through multiple incidents of anti-Semitic behavior from his professor and receiving no assistance from the university in preventing further occurrences. Now, in arts and culture, 5 fall films to help you define the season, even though it's currently 70 degrees outside, by Adrielle Hassara. She drops 5 cozy film classics. If your summer is beginning to wind down, here's a list of essentials. She says that When Harry Met Sally, Good Will Hunting, Practical Magic, Dead Poets Society, and You've Got Mail are 5 essentials. If you want to read more, consider hopping on over to thedailyaztec.com and checking it out. Now, in other arts and culture news, Lexa Gates unites her passionate fan community at the Observatory North Park. Fans showed their devotion of musician Lexa Gates during her San Diego I Am tour in an intimate yet enthusiastic concert, says Ashley Bueno Leon. Check out her review of the musician and rapper as she dissects the meaning of being a diehard fan. Now, Ashley Bueno Leon doesn't just do arts and culture. She's also in our opinion section. She makes a twofer on this podcast with her opinion piece of cinema. She highlights the importance of community efforts in keeping movie-going alive. Streaming is dominating, but it's your job to sit in that dark room with other people to keep alive the visual odyssey of cinema. It's more than a casual pastime, she says. In other opinion, Emma Brown tells all the impact of the shutdown on our national parks. Without staff on site during shutdowns, the national parks see a rise in visitor misconduct and environmental damage. On the California State Parks website, they delivered their own biting critique of the shutdown. They read, "California is home to 9 national parks, where access and services may be impacted, along with devastating financial impacts to the business and communities that rely on tourism." A banner across the top of the website read. Read all about it on the DA website. And as always, thank you, dearly listeners. We look forward to your eyes and ears every single week for this podcast. And pre-recorded from the Lambden Hall basement, this has been the Daily Aztec Debrief. Thank you.